Yesterday we started with the Modeh and we gave a general introduction about what we're thanking for and being grateful and so forth. So let's just get into the nitty-gritty of the Modeh. What is exactly this thanking? Modeh, first of all, who wrote the Modeh? So here in this, I'm very surprised that in this book it doesn't quote the source, and it says "Anusach hazelo iskiru hareshonim," meaning that this nusach of Modeh is not brought down in the Talmud. The Rambam, Maimonides never wrote anything about it. It's not brought down in any book of halacha until a book that's called Seder Hayom. The Modeh that we have today, the nusach that we say, is written by a big chacham that lived at the time of the Arizal, which is very recent, relatively speaking. We're talking about 500 years ago. Rabbi, he was the Rav of Har Zetun in Tzfat. He lived at the time of the Arizal. He wrote a book. He wrote a few books. Rabbi Yehuda Askari, his name was. And he wrote a book called Seder Hayom. Seder Hayom goes through the different parts of the Tefillah with a lot of elaboration according to Kabbalah and so forth. So this is where the nusach. Here he doesn't bring him down. He says, Nira shetiknu oto achronim. But it is very clear that it's in the Sefer Seder Hayom. You can look it up. Now, what are we thinking? Yesterday we explained that we're thanking Hashem Modeh Ani, thanking Hashem that He has given us our neshama back. So the Zohar writes something very beautiful. He says like this. He said at night, what do we say? What's the bracha that we do before we go to sleep? Be'adcha afkid ruchi, we say also, right? I'm giving you back my neshama. La'afkid is milashon pikadon. What is a pikadon? It's a collateral. Meaning there's a Baal Chov, there's somebody that owes something, and I'm giving you as a collateral to keep something, right? So he says the Zohar, Mashkon. Right? So the Zohar says something like this. When a person owes somebody something, so he gives them a collateral, right? Here, you're giving me money, now I owe you money, and I'm giving you a collateral. Now, the person that is holding that collateral, right, is going to hold on to it until he gets his money back, right? Whatever the person that owes him. So the Zohar says Hashem is not like that. We give him our neshama at night, right? Our neshama goes back. He keeps it, but He gives it to us back, even though we owe Him a lot, right? We owe Hashem so much for everything we do and so forth. He should be keeping, just like the Baal Pikadon, right? He should be keeping the neshama, not giving it, Chaz v'Shalom, not giving it back to us. So He says, Hashem, even though we owe Him so much, He gives us back to us every morning. And what's very beautiful about the Zohar is that the Zohar wants to learn a halacha, practical halacha to this. I find this very interesting because the Zohar is not a book of halacha. It usually explains very esoteric things and different deeper part of the Torah. And here the Zohar says like this. Therefore, a person, just like Hashem gives us back, right, the pikadon, even though we owe Him so much, a person should not hold on to a collateral of another person, right, when he owes it to him. Meaning, somebody gave you a collateral, and he can't pay you back, but he needs it back. According to the Zohar, give it back to him. Just like Hashem. Just like Hashem gives us back our neshama, although we owe Him so much, do the same thing for another person. And the Zohar finishes by saying, Uman de tafis, and somebody that holds a collateral of his friend, led bemin bnei hemnuta kadisha. He doesn't have the emunah of the holy Jewish people. This is how the Zohar finishes, and therefore this is what we're thanking the Modeh according to the Zohar. We're thanking Hashem that He has given us back our neshama, and although we owe Him so much, He's still giving it back to us every morning. We'll continue.